then you got it. And you got most of the data, right?
Exactly.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Mobile NFC Payments and Security. My name is Alka Manchanda. I'm a program chair at TiE. TiE is a nonprofit that fosters entrepreneurship. We have several groups that are part of TiE. We have an angel investment group. We have a mentoring, networking, and you're here for one of these networking sessions. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce our moderator, Karl Weaver. I was just telling the panelists, he's the most enthusiastic moderator that I have met. So I look forward to a very exciting panel discussion today. Karl has been in this field for many, many years, and for the last 5 years, he has spent in China implementing some of these technologies. So I'd like to hand over to him, and he will go through a brief presentation, and then we will have the panel discussion following that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alka. I think I'm fine. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. I'm really happy that you're here, along with a great panel of speakers. To be very honest with you, I wanted this event to be enthusiastic, evangelizing technologies because, excuse me, we're a little bit laggards in this region. We have some of the best software talent on the planet here, right? We have Google and Kirkland. We have Microsoft, Redmond, and all over the place. We have Amazon with a Fire phone. Fantastic. And we also have Starbucks with the best mobile payment application on the planet. But did you know who makes Starbucks app? It's actually a Vancouver company. Hey, let's get on the ball. The technologies I'll be talking to you about tonight are really, really important. I'm combining so many technologies together. I'll be talking about smart cards. Let me go on to the next slide. I'll be talking about, oh, wait a minute. You're in for a treat. What you gonna do, Derek? Show me the money! Congratulations, you're still my agent. So this is Jerry Maguire, and basically Jerry Maguire, Tom Cruise, basically says to Cuba Gooding Jr., show me the money! Yeah. That's what I'm going to do to you tonight, is show you what I think is the money. My objective is to get you software people in the crowd enthusiastic about using these technologies for mobile payment. Because guess what? We sit in one of the most important places for mobile payments with the software background here. We're not so hardware-centric, but we've got the software. So, hello everybody. Wake up. We want to inspire. That's what tonight is all about. All right. This is tonight's agenda. You're going to hear some terms and topics that you've never heard about before. They are relevant. What is a smart card? You know, I can talk to you all day long about what a smart card is, but I so happen to have been collecting smart cards for transportation, for credit debit, for loyalty, etc., etc. Can I have you have a quick look? Maybe you'd like to pass it around. The smart card industry is really, really behind the development of mobile. Now, there are two technologies in the smart card. There are two types of protocols used in the technologies for smart cards. There's Contact, which is using the ISO 781 protocol for you techie geeky types. And then you have Contactless, which is ISO 1443, okay, which is used for contactless credit and debit cards, but it's also the same technology used for your smartphone for mobile payment. And, by the way, if you're going to make a mobile payment using your mobile payment smartphone, you also need the EMV protocol from EMV code. So, I know these things may sound very foreign to you now, but they're all relevant, absolutely relevant. So we have what is called a smart card. It looks like a SIM card, doesn't it? That's because we take the similar technology, the storage, and we put it from the credit card into the SIM card to make the mobile payment smartphone useful for point-of-sale devices and for all kinds of NFC readers. Now, there's a thing called the secure element. You might have been hearing about this. The secure element was normally put into the SIM card. However, the secure element now is going virtual. It's in a micro SD. It's embedded into the NFC controller chip. It's even going into the cloud. But it's also going into the mobile apps processor chip. Let me talk to you further about that. So EMV, what is this EMV? What is this whole chip and pin you've been hearing about? If you go to Europe and you try to use your mag strip, they'll say, excuse me, we're in the 21st century. What are you guys doing? I don't know, maybe you have that experience. In America, we are moving forward, thank goodness. We are migrating to chip and signature. That's where you take the smart card and you insert it into a point-of-sale card reader to make your mobile payment. You still have to sign a signature. But if you go overseas, it's all chip and pin, 4 or 6-digit pin. EMV stands for EuroPay, Visa, MasterCard. And even actually American Express is part of that. So is China Union Pay. Does that ring any bells? China Union Pay is actually now bigger than Visa. The key point is there are like 6 members of this group of credit card processing organizations. And they all conform to the EMV standard so that you can take your smart card, credit card, or your chip and pin card and insert it or use wireless protocol to tap a card reader. Bingo! This is going on every place in the world. The United States, if you see the gray region here, the United States is the only country in the world that hasn't implemented this. Hello, Houston, we have a little bit of a problem. Fortunately, by October of next year, there's something called the Great Liability Shift. That's where the banks and the credit card companies turn the liability of using chip and pin credit cards to the merchant. And the merchant's not going to accept your magstrip card. So, just for reference, you can now buy, and you can now get free of charge, hello, this is American Express. You can now get a chip and signature card. This is also Costco. We are entering the 21st century, just a few years late. Hallelujah. All right, let's move forward. We have too many slides to go through. If you design, and my job was to design an NFC smartphone for this company here, which you might have heard from it's not an Italian ice cream, by the way, it's called Gemalto, right? This company is the global leader in digital security. They make all the credit cards, the debit cards, the SIM cards around the world. Jeff, you know who these guys are. And the key point here is this French company, and the French in general, are really, the French and the Germans and Dutch are behind this whole contactless technology, and a lot behind this whole smart card industry as well. So basically, I know it sounds alien to you, but it's reality, it's important, and that's how we're going to get to mobile payments from the smart card industry, EMV protocols. We're going to get to using a smartphone to make a mobile payment. How you make a mobile payment and how you design an NFC handset is very simple. You have an NFC SIM card, you have an NFC controller chip, and then you have a protocol between the two. You need an antenna as well. By the way, that antenna will allow you to make a transaction, or allow you to at least, if you're in a subway and you lose power to your handset, the way the protocol works is it still will allow you to leave the subway it's basically an EMV field that you're generating. It's almost like RFID. NFC is not RFID, but it's very, very similar. They're kissing cousins. Okay, so basically this is how you design a handset for NFC. NFC has a controller, it has a wallet, it has various protocols, it has a smart operating system, and the secure element actually has an operating system. So I'm just trying to piece together how you come to create a mobile payment smartphone. And the other key point is secure domains. Think of it as a warehouse. The SIM card allows you to store information from the bank, the operator, the transportation company in the SIM card, in a secure element, and storage facility, essentially. It's storing cryptographic keys, your credentials, your payment credentials. Let me move on. Contactless NFC. I know you've heard of it. It doesn't mean National Football Conference, okay? It doesn't mean not for what? Not for commerce. What's the other one, Jeff? What's the other one they say? No functional clue, National Football Conference, not for commerce. It means near field communications. It's on most of your smartphones now, and you probably haven't ever used it. Right? Let's be honest. You will soon, we hope. Anyway, this technology is important. I've invited Lynn here, who will talk about how they're implementing it into the Orchid card, uses NFC, for the entire transportation sector here in Puget Sound. That's actually quite significant. How it works is you have 3 modes. Read-write mode, you're reading a poster. Peer-to-peer, you can take 2 handsets and you can tap, or you can go to an ATM with your smartphone to deduct or deposit money, and then card emulation. Anything a card can do, your handset can do with card emulation mode. All right, let me move forward quickly. These are some of the use cases. Lynn, I think you'll like that. I put the Orca card there. And Starbucks has a really interesting mobile payment application. There are so many applications for NFC. I could spend an hour, but I can't. I don't have time. Now, what's really important to understand is how payments occur. You have remote payment, accessing your web browser, going to a website, using your credit card, or maybe the application from the vendor and making a payment. That requires you to have certain kinds of credentials already in the wallet or in the SIM card, etc., etc. But you're essentially online. We call that online payment. Contactless mobile NFC uses offline payment. That's where you're offline, okay? Now, for all you people talking about the cloud, I'm going to use the cloud for everything. Excuse me, the cloud is not everywhere, and you're going to find regions of the country, of the world, of the city, where cloud is not going to work, okay? So, I know everyone's talking about the cloud. Cloud is great. Cloud doesn't do everything in certain regions, so just keep that in mind. You'll have, basically, there are a few different types of payment classifications. Let me go on. Oh, I think you like this slide. This is new, huh? All right, so I was alerted that I didn't have all the right wallet partners, but oh my goodness, there's so many partners for wallets. You have technology company-driven wallets. You have mobile carrier-driven wallets. You have Starbucks. You have financial service-driven wallets, and you have payment processing-driven. Those are the gateway vendors, right? So your wallet today is very, very critical. But you don't have to use NFC if you have a wallet. You can use barcode. Now they're using Bluetooth or iBeacon, which is Bluetooth Low Energy, plus the iBeacon. Now, by the way, iBeacon is only allowed by Apple to be used. But if you have an Android phone, Beacon, you can use that technology. And a lot of people are working on these kinds of solutions. So what's better, barcode? Not really, no security. NFC, security, but, well, we're kind of laggards when it comes to NFC. And then we have Bluetooth, iBeacon. Wow, so cool. All you need is the Apple Store application. You enable Beacon. Bingo! It's going to follow you around the store. It's going to give you some suggestions, tell you what sales are on, and it's going to allow you to use a barcode to make a payment. And bingo, you can make a payment because guess what? Apple has your credentials already. Apple knows the ballgame. But in my humble opinion, is Apple's going to use NFC plus iBeacon to cover the whole ballgame for proximity payments. So that's what we're talking about, proximity payments. So the wallet allows you to make use all kinds of technology to enable it. Let me go on. I've been asked this 1,000 times. Is Apple going to come out with NFC in their iPhone? And many people say, no, yes, no, yes. Well, you know what? Companies don't spend millions of dollars designing IP if they don't have some eventual use for it. Did you know that there's something called iTravel from Apple, which uses NFC? There are at least 6 to 10 patents on NFC that Apple has launched. Patently Apple is the website you can go to. You can check them all out. So, are they going to use the technology? I think so. When? Who knows? Who knows? All right, ISIS versus MCX. Does anybody know who MCX is? They've got this huge conglomeration of retail vendors under their belt. Target, Walmart, etc., etc. A lot of companies. It's really funny when you think about MCX. They say we're not using NFC, we're using barcode. But did you know that in Asia, companies like 7-Eleven, all they use is NFC in their stores, their convenience stores. So a little bit of an issue here with ISIS is basically a company that launched a nationwide mobile payment platform with 3 operators: AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile. Sprint was part of it. They decided to do something else with Google. Google has a wallet. Sprint is working with Google for that wallet. And then ISIS has kind of been floating along with this vision that everybody knows what NFC is, everybody knows what mobile payments are, and everybody's secure, everybody feels happy with their payments. That's very far from reality, okay? So, is anybody here from ISIS? Shame on you. Anyway, what I talk about is the problem between technologies here. We've got ISIS promoting NFC, we've got MCX promoting barcode. It's really about proximity payments, but the key is that you have all these other interests in between. You have HCE, which is a new technology that allows you not to use the SIM card if you want to use NFC technology. We have Google and the banks on one side. We have the credit card companies in the middle. And then we have ISIS, the TSMs, the secure element, and the mobile network operators. You have them on the other side. So it's a type of war going on right now. You may not be aware of that, but that's what's going on. Let me go now talk about a very, very serious issue. I'm not sure if you realize this, but your mobile device has absolutely zero security right now. Right now. So the question is, excuse me, I'm going to use something I learned from the French. I'm going to use a little bit of French. Why the hell do we have to wait for Edward Snowden to tell the world that people are hacking everybody else? Why the hell do we have to learn these things from Mr. Edward Snowden, right? When we have the 4 top software companies on the planet right here. Somebody needs to take a moral responsibility. Okay, and you software engineers, you know what I'm talking about. You know the problems have existed for a long time, yet you really haven't done anything about it. Fortunately, this Snowden fellow ruined his life and career by telling the world it isn't just the Chinese and the Russians hacking us, we're hacking them. Okay? I call it the way I see it. The real issue here, though, is software-only solutions at the OS level. You can't stop malware. You can't stop trojans. Is that right, Phil? Can you?
You can't stop what you want to mitigate.
Well, if I'm somebody who doesn't know that I'm being spied on, what am I going to do about it? That's the problem. Did you know that they can spy on you through your camera right now? They can listen to your voicemails. They can steal your payment credentials. If your payment credentials are not in the SIM card, then they can steal your data. Hello, Houston. We have more than a problem here. We have a serious epidemic. So let's face the reality, okay? Let's do something about it. Phil's got an interesting technology that works with a technology I was responsible for promoting in China called the TiE, the Trusted Execution Environment. Basically, you have hackers who are salivating to get to your wallet, to get to your payment credentials. We have a huge problem, and we're not talking about it. Today we are. You can see that malware is going into many different types of applications. They can put malware into a legitimate application, install it on a third-party app store you don't even know, and you're being spied on. They're simply waiting for something to steal. For them, it's all about return on investment. I think you like this. Look at all the things that are going on your mobile device right now. And by the way, the tools that they use to hack and to root your smartphone are much more sophisticated than on your laptop. Much more sophisticated. It's a really cool company called Kaspersky Labs that's trying to do something about monitoring all the malware. What is it? Every minute there's like thousands of malware that are created. Is that right, Phil?
There's a lot of smart ones.
All right, so this slide is interesting. Around 2010, when I enabled near-field communications for the handset ecosystem in Taiwan and China, Gemalto approached me because I was selling to the same ecosystem. They said, hey, Karl, we have this new thing called the TiE. We bought this company called Trusted Logic. We want you to promote this technology. I said, what is the TiE? What is security? No, I didn't say that, but basically, they put me in charge of promoting this. They put me in charge of promoting mobile security in the world's largest hacker market. Hello! It's very difficult with the techno-nationalism and protectionism in China to sell mobile security. However, I'll tell you how I did that in another story. But basically, we have this technology from ARM. ARM has a software security implementation in their mobile applications processor chip platform. ARM does not make chips. The chip vendors work with ARM's platform to create mobile applications processor chip solutions. There's a security implementation called TrustZone in these chips. Trustonic, or Trusted Logic previously, took this mobile security operating system and combined it with ARM's TrustZone to create a way to take your sensitive applications and port them using global platform, global standardized APIs from the open world where everybody can hack into a secure world on the mobile apps processor chip. Now there's something bigger going on here. The smart card is old. It's 30 years old. Okay? What's really happening here? People are moving things from the smart card to the mobile apps processor chip. Obviously, it has better processing power. You cannot do many things like protection of rendered video content, right? You can't do that on a smart card. You can do that in the mobile applications processor chip. So actually what's going on is smart card is reaching its life phase here. It's phasing down, the smart card. But the mobile apps processor chip, that's the best bet to protect and have tamper-resistant security from software into hardware on your smartphone. That's where it's going. That's where it's going. ARM knows it, Intel knows it, Google knows it. They all know it. All right, so that's what we talk about. We're talking about an environment where you have a rich operating system, open to hackers. On the other side, it's like a firewall environment where you can run your sensitive financial applications, your rented content. Netflix, Amazon, and Google have been using this technology for at least 3 years, by the way, and you don't even know it, right? You don't care. You just want security, right? You don't care that they're protecting high-definition video content because Hollywood cares, right? So now let me talk about something really, really interesting. Google recognized that they were getting beat up with NFC from ISIS because, well, ISIS and especially Verizon said, hey, we're not going to use your Google Wallet because you're not using our SWP NFC SIM card, our SIM card, our ISIS SIM card. You're trying to take control away from us, operators. But basically Google said, okay, well, I need to figure out something else. Google is very creative, okay? Disruption in the industry, but they're very creative. What they decided to do was come up with something, working with a company called Simply Tap. They came up with a workaround for the SIM card. So you can see here that originally, when you read the payment credential from the NFC reader, it goes to the SIM card, the secure element. What they've done is they bypass that and send it to the CPU, which sends it to the cloud. It's my humble opinion that the TiE might replace the cloud, because I don't think the cloud is secure or safe. You can tell me a million years, but I still see breaches going on in the cloud. So it might work.
It scares the pants off when you see that. Honestly, they can't. Without a TiE, they can't get it right.
You'll have your chance. So does everybody understand what I'm talking about here? I'm talking about Google having a roadblock and saying, what am I going to do about this roadblock by the operators in North America and pretty much in the rest of the world, because the operators control the handset manufacturing ecosystem. Google said, okay, let's create a roadblock. Let's create a diverted route. And that's what they've done. That's what they've done. Now, let's talk a little bit about Bluetooth and NFC. I believe they're going to work together. But has anybody ever gone into an Apple store, turned on their iBeacon? It's really cool, and it really works. I was in the store yesterday, and I experimented with it. It's really cool. I believe iBeacons and NFC are going to work cooperatively. I also believe that cryptocurrencies are going to use NFC because that's the way to help with the whole regulation problem with Bitcoin. Okay? And I know Bitcoin is a very interesting cryptocurrency, but when governments around the world want to ban it, want to tax it, that's a problem. Here's my summary. Here's my summary. As Software Central, Seattle hasn't done enough to foster mobile payments on smartphones. We haven't done enough here. Newer innovative payments, they need to be tamper resistant. Otherwise, if there's no security, you're not going to feel comfortable making a mobile payment. You simply won't. HCE and Bluetooth and low energy are interesting technologies. I mentioned about Bitcoin just a minute ago. US payment ecosystems need partnerships to scale and awareness. If nobody knows what an NFC is, if nobody knows that there is security in your handset, you can get the right security. If nobody knows it, nobody's going to implement it. Finally, think twice. Really think twice about, do you really have security on your smartphone, your tablet, your smart TV, your set-top box? The answer is no. Right now, unless you use the TiE, the answer is 0. Is it 0, Phil? Close to it?
Depends.
Okay. That's my presentation. Now we are